Hello, this is Autumn, and she's wearing a hand-me-down of a cute little sea dog, or bear. I don't know, it's something. We've had it for like 6-7 years. Alright, so haven't posted in a while. So, little Miss was finally born on January 20th. We're so excited. Kind of wanted to do this briefly. So, hey, you being loud. We call her Squeak Squeakin' or Grunty. She's super loud. Yes, she has reflux too. Anywho, so I think everybody knows that I was high risk. I also ended up with preeclampsia and gestational diabetes. And my diabetes had to be managed with actual insulin because it was really bad. So we found out that they were going to keep me pregnant as long as possible, and then my doctor decided 38 weeks was going to be it. So at 37.6, I went in. Bless you, I knew you were going to. I went into the hospital to be monitored for 24 hours before delivery for my blood sugar, and I was on medicine. And at the hospital, they only had to give me insulin like a couple times to manage my blood sugar. It was pretty good. Then, I was supposed to be induced. They were supposed to start induction around 4 o'clock in the morning on the 20th, and at 3, there was an emergency C-section of twins, so I got bumped. So they started me on the Pitocin, and it wasn't really doing much. I had been having contractions like the whole time anyway, and I pretty much was in early labor when I went into the hospital anyway, and it was just kind of like, well, we're just not going to break your water until tomorrow. So then they came in and they said, well, do you want your epidural? And so I got my epidural, and the epidural that they used at this hospital did not have an amphetamine in it. And the other epidurals I'd had amphetamines in it, so my blood pressure did tank, but they got it back up. But that's a common thing that you can have, is that your blood pressure can get low with the epidural. So I was on the epidural, and then they tried to break my water twice, and it didn't work, or it had a mild break. But I was contracting, and I was just, something just didn't feel right. And then I was kind of like sitting and kind of just progressing a little bit, and then I told the nurse that I really felt like I had to push, and then they were like, well, your water has dropped significantly, so we're gonna have the doctor come in and break it. And during that time, how they got my water to drop and how they got her to drop was they gave me the lovely peanut ball to put in between my legs, but my legs were totally numb, so it's kind of funny. And so then they had to use the peanut ball to get the peanut out, So then I started feeling immense pressure, and mind you, I was completely numb, and they had broken my water at 11:20. And I'm feeling this immense pressure. I'm like, something doesn't feel right, because I've had epidurals before and had pressure and things like that. But it was like my legs were completely numb, but I felt everything. I felt all the pressure, all the pain, all the contractions. I felt everything. But I couldn't walk. So I tell the nurse, I'm like, I have to push. And they're like, well, I don't know if you progress that much. And I was at a 5 when they had checked me at 11:20, and within, I don't know, less than an hour, I went to a 10, which is very quick and very painful. And then little Miss here started coming up sunny side up, so her head was facing up, and because her head was facing up, she wasn't turn to the side for her shoulders, so she came out the wrong way. So she came out completely widthwise of her shoulders popping out this way instead of like on her side. And she was on my pelvic nerve, and I felt everything, and it was incredibly painful. I'm not gonna pretend it wasn't. It hurt really bad, and it was pretty traumatic because she started coming out, and they didn't tell me right away that she was coming out the wrong way. And then they told me to stop pushing because if I pushed, I could do damage. And so then they pulled her out. And that was really painful. But then she came out, and she came out in like a ball. And she came through the canal so quickly that she had a lot of fluid, so she was kind of gaspy and gurgly and making some noises that weren't necessarily okay. And so they watched her a bunch. But then because of the way she came out and kind of the whole process of her coming out the wrong way, I had some extra bleeding and some extra clots and stuff, so they kept me in the hospital for an extra day. And they kept little Miss because she just didn't want to eat for like the first 18 hours after delivery. It was pretty scary, and then she wanted to eat all the time. Right? So that's kind of what happened birth-wise. It's not... And I didn't have any, like, complications that would interfere with me having future children if we wanted to, but, you know, that's just kind of what happened. And, you know, now we're moving, so that's pretty exciting. We're going to be moving in a couple weeks. Little Miss is going to be a Texas girl. So excited. And we all just love her. We all just love her so much. And can't imagine our lives without her. She's just perfect. So this is kind of like our little birth story. And, you know, we're not... All that pain was so worth it for you, huh? But she's very sassy, and she's very set in her ways, and we love her. You know, I didn't go through anything like I had gone through before. Like, I had a little bit of labor shakes. You know, I didn't have a lot of sleep the night before because when you go in for insulin checks, they check your blood sugar every hour, so I didn't really sleep much. They gave me some medicine to try to help me sleep, but it was kind of like just taking a Benadryl. But we were doing okay, huh? But I said, I was like, I don't know if I'll have an epidural next time just because I know what it feels like to not have it work. So, you know, we're just happy she's here, and she's got some little milky bubbles coming out of her mouth. Yeah. It's nap time. But, of course, if I put her down, she'll start screaming because she wants mommy or somebody to hold her all the time. And we're just so thrilled that she's here because we just love her. Right, baby girl? And she is 1 month and 1 day old today. So we're very excited. She's in 3-month clothing. We took her to the doctor last week, Tuesday, and she weighed 9 pounds, 2 ounces. And she's on medicine for reflux, and she's eating like a champ. I would say about 98% of the time she's completely breastfed on the breast. And then she'll have like a bottle or some formula once in a while. But she's just perfect. Right, little Autumn? Yeah? Can you smile? Okay. Well, we'll post some other videos in the next couple weeks. But we're really happy to have her. And we love her so much. She's such a blessing.